Welcome in. Oh, I have to close my door. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. I'll put on the BRB. I just want to say hi. Hi. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I was completely unprepared. I don't even have my stuff on. It's like I don't do this every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. All right. So I was gonna do Robot Boy collab, but I might finish this real quick. This is my character sheet for Yorick for Art Fight, which I still haven't done. I was busy this weekend. But hi, welcome in. How are you? How was your weekend? Where did I put that purple? Oh, it was in my. It was in the community. Why is he kind of silly? He's a little. He's a little wacky. He's a little goofy. Community. Yes. Uh, just open it in here. Or it'll just open in here. Not what I wanted. Just need this purple. I do also need this for um, isolating my stuff. I wanted to post, my contribution to the community board. Just wanted to put all my little guys together. Okay, my purple. Let's just do a hard brush. Sake of this. I think I just want the lines to be purple. I don't think I need the. Maybe I just mask the lines. Or I do the lines on a separate layer on top, maybe. I'm just gonna put some purple up here, just so I have that for reference. My swatch. Hi, welcome in. What's up? Let's do black. just fill all this in. Did I already do that? I don't mind coloring by hand. Low stress. Low stress what? I don't need to color that one. These. Hi, welcome in. Sorry, my Spanish is a little rusty. Sense of movement, my good sir. Thank you. I like this pose a lot. I thought about making it a little bigger, but I don't want it to take up too much space. I like this one a lot. He's very specifically a depressed jester, so I like to have this dichotomy of him like putting on this mask of happiness, but then he goes backstage and he's this one. He's just a little sad sack. Actually, that's more helpful. Should do that. Do a neutral background actually. He's a little evil actually. He's not evil. He lore wise he is possessed by an artifact. This is a D&D OC that I'm very happy with. I couldn't think of a better name than Yorick. I think that's too perfect for the sake of him being a jester who uh, is trying to usurp the king. And I really like the design I was able to come up with for the simplicity of the mouth and the eyes. I like just the basic shapes for the muzzle, the snoot. I don't often do character design, so I was happy with it. I usually just make them move. Is that a mustache he has? It's supposed to be his snoot, but it does look like a mustache I recognize. And I don't hate that it looks like a mustache. I think that adds something to the design. I could put more of the little like mouth jowls to emphasize the not mustache of it in certain instances. It gets lost in the fact that he has that shaded hood. Um, but I want his face to have that freedom of movement within that shape, this diamond, and then repeating that on the outfit. I don't know. It's cute. So dimensional, thank you. Every gesture I see, I think of melodic death metal. Interesting. I don't know that he's not a bard per se. I don't know that he would be musically inclined. He is very well. He is a bard, but not a musical bard. Uh, he is a comedian. His way of spell casting is through punchlines and one-liners and the sort. Because I like the idea of bards being more than just like art can be more than just music. I have a photographer bard that I've never actually played, but I think that's a fun concept to like capture people's souls using that. Uh, there was like an old Native American belief that photography was bad because it would like take part of your soul out of you when you were captured on film, and like using that uh, spirituality, using that superstition um, as a ploy, as a magical means, I think is fun. Um, yeah. What is my other jester? I have an artist jester, which is closer to, there's like a Marvel superhero that there's a little kid who like draws cartoons and his cartoons come to life and are like monsters that fight for him. Something like that as an artist bard. Um, yeah. Right. I had a pattern. I lost it. That one. It's a little more obvious here that it's a snoot when he's on the when he's at an angle. Skull. I'm thinking of it. I'm also not colorfully inclined when I'm designing characters. Um, so I really like black and white for the sake of form. Uh, Keep it simplistic, and since I'm an animator, I like to keep my colors pretty simple too, um, because you don't want too much complexity when you're having to paint every frame. But I did a little bit overcomplicate his design with. He's a jester. He's got to have the accoutrement. He's got to have the bells and whistles, bells more specifically. I love exploring other ideas for my bards. I have a goth girl. That's cool. Spirit bard that uses bad poetry. That's a fun one. Is that Oh, Spirit Bard. Okay. I was thinking there's another one that is very specifically like, is it College of Tragedy, maybe? Where it's very specifically like you use your bad luck to give your friends good luck. Like if you roll a nat one, it gives them a perk of some kind. I can't remember, but it's very fun. He has to make the king and queen happy. He does. That's a cool idea, the photography one. Thank you. Yeah, I like to explore myth and legend from other stuff and try and incorporate that into mine, especially with like naming schemes. I have a whole list of names that I'm just like ready to pop out. I also have a lot of characters that I'm also already really happy with, um, that I need to probably draw character designs for. Ooh, switch back to my what brush really? Sketch. Nope. This one. It was that one. Forgot to do trap name generator website exists. Sorry. I don't like to do name generators for the sake of like, for some reason, I think phonetically there are combinations of letters that just work really well with the way that they sound. Like they just fit certain archetypes, they fit certain character designs. And some names really work well, whether it's theming wise or like aesthetically. Um, for example, like Ratchet from Ratchet and Clank, that makes sense. He's got a big wrench, clever in the sense of like theming, right? But then there are certain characters that are like, trying to think of a really like Kratos. Like I know that he's themed from an actual like deity, but the way that he is depicted as this like big guy, just the phonetics of the word Kratos just go really well with him as a character. I don't know why I went to PlayStation, but those were my two ideas. I was thinking I just watched some of Arcane this weekend and it was really good, and the guy, like the dad, the father figure at the beginning had a really cool name and it fit his character so well because he was this big gruff burly guy, and that was I was like, yeah, that's his name. That had to be his name. It was always that. There was no concepting. It was just what's his design? Yep, that's his name. Um, so I have some characters I feel like are just so perfectly like more syllables equals like more whimsy and like uh certain like emphasis on the ending of the name can be important. I don't know what Yorick says specifically, uh, but it says something and it fits really well. Vander, thank you. Yeah, Vander. Just like it's so like it's two syllables, it's very quick, and it's just like bam. You know who he is. That's all you need to know. There's no last name. Everybody knows who he is, and that's the character, and it fits so well. What's the design I was going with? White hood. Do I like white? I think I do need it to be a white hood, so then the hooded face fits the framing. Yeah, and then just purple accents. That's a little messy, but I think if I cleaned up those lines and made that thinner, I think it would be okay. Actually, I have his character model. I made him in Hero Forge. Let me pull that real quick. The other thing was I was trying to not make him specifically like a realistic fox. I like the idea of him being more cartoony, but Hero Forge doesn't really have that many options. I really like this pose that I came up with for him because there is one setting in Hero Forge where you can like change the face shape, and so there's a combination of like uh I like playing with gesture and like the concept of how like a face is so easily manipulated. So like this as angry or like evil or plotting could very easily be happy as well if you changed the shape of the eyebrows or uh, the mouth. Like just one slight change can make the entire pose speak something else. Um, and so in Hero Forge, there is a pose that is specifically like a downturned frown but an upturned smile, and it looks very much like a comedy tragedy mask. Um, and so I have this pose. I'm just gonna put this over here so then you can see the I can show you the what I'm going for. So here he's happy very specifically and like, you know, a little coy plotting something. But then from here, this angle that nobody sees, he is like scared and afraid. Um, but you don't really get that because it's covered. I think it's pretty telling of his character, and I like it a lot. Anyway, so yeah, it looks like I just have purple lines on the accents of where things meet. That's nice. And I think I want to keep with the diamond patterns rather than because he's got like half diamond, half stripes. And I think I just want to do diamonds. And also change the initial hood on the outside needs to be white so that you can differentiate the face, the hood shape. Use this one as the default. scenes, whereas I should be focusing more on posing or like just very basic like side profile shots. Uh, but I'd like to give people as many options as possible when they want to use my character for something. Um, and I don't necessarily care about like I think it's fairly obvious that he's like a digitigrade, foxkin, whatever, from the front, so people know they don't need like the legs because I don't have like a anything below the waist for the profile. Oh, you know what? I don't have any music playing. I also forgot to set that up. Give me one sec. Also, why is this lagging so bad? Good Lord. Give him purple belt. Let me look. I can just look. You have purple bells? No, you got silver bells. Gold bells? What bells do I have? My jacket's not up here. I think I have silver bells. Oops. Lighter than that. Maybe even a little lighter. Oh, you know what? I forgot about the opacity. Let me turn that up. A little darker. Yeah. Mm, right there. Music, and then I got distracted. I'm locked in. Okay. Even though it's not even like great music, it's just YouTube whatever. And it doesn't even let me play it without getting mad at me. So I'm gonna do. I think I like the stripes on the pants. I think I like the stripes. And I think since the gloves are white cuffed, I think I want the pants to be black cuffed. And so up here will be white, these will be black, this can be purple. This is how bad I am at color, is that I don't plan it out, and I feel like I should spend more time on it, other than just me being like, yeah, that seems right. There's not a And I know how important it is. It's just not my thing. I'm not gonna learn color design just for art fight. I don't need that taking up space in my head currently. I've got too many other things I gotta focus up on. And I think that's okay. I think there are certain spots in art where you just don't need to be fully well versed in them. It's okay to have that ambiguity. And I think it allows for more creativity because you're not so afraid of like messing up because you know that you're not good at it. There's no pressure there. There's no built-in background of, oh, I have to be perfect at this because it's my thing. It's not my thing. I don't know. I can play with it. Nobody answered me when I asked how they were doing. Doing all right out there? Good weekend? Had fun? Yay, nay? Mm-hmm. These should be black. Fit the gloves. That's my concern is making sure that each part stands out well enough from the other more so than the design because he's a jester. Like the whole point is that this is kind of a wacky outfit that's drawing attention, which is very funny because I have the best sneak in my party. So, and I also have bells all over me. But I am a bard, so that is to be expected. pluses are nuts, and we're only level 3, 4. I think we just leveled up to 4. Soft brush. So I did make him a red fox. I kind of like the idea of an Arctic fox, but it doesn't really play into his character in any way, shape, or form that would be meaningful. I don't know. And that might be too much black and white. A little pop of something. Let's do. Yeah, that's nice. A little less than that, actually. Let's go a little more red. More burnt orange. It's still too saturated. Let's do. I mean, he's a cartoon character. That's better. Yeah. Burnt orange. It has 8 viewers, but nobody's talking to me. What's happening? Are we just chilling? That's fine. Maybe we're all parallel playing. That's okay. This one. Black will be fine here. I think there's the implication enough that that's attached. Need to offset the Let's try white. Let's see what happens with white. Do one of each. I can have it alternate and be the only thing that's asymmetrical about him. Just really piss some people off. Now I think black has to be on the outsides. Still drawing my character from earlier. Oh, nice. Oh, were you going to shade that one in? That one was really cool. I really like that pose. Hi, welcome in. What's up? What is happening? Why is it telling me? Why is it dinging? Finishing up real quick, then I can talk while I eat. No, you're good. I was just kidding. I'm perfectly capable of being here alone. I was just like, wow, I've got 11 people in here now, and nobody's chatting. Just watching, and that's fine. I will be your zoo animal that you observe. I just looked up the soliloquy. Well, it's not really a soliloquy from Hamlet. The speech about "Alas, poor Yorick." Apparently, it's misquoted all the time. It's people say, "Alas, poor Yorick, I knew him well." It's actually "Alas, poor Yorick, I knew him, Horatio," because he's talking to his friend. Uh, and that's it. That's my fact of the day. You've learned something. I usually stop at "Alas, poor Yorick" because I think that is kind of the uh, message of the whole speech is very specifically just like, I feel bad for this guy, but also I don't because everybody's gonna die someday and it was inevitable and all of this stuff. There's some solace in knowing that your enemies will be dead as well and that type of thing. Even though you're a king and you can have all of these riches, you can't prevent the inevitable march of death and the passage of time. Can't buy your way out of it. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust, that sort of thing. Not marker, sketch. Oops. I love when my computer lags. I do have like 7 different programs running right now, but she works when she wants to. I think a lot of Shakespeare is misquoted. Yeah, I think so too, considering so many people use like what is that? Spark Notes or like Shakespeare. There's some one site that's very specifically dedicated to Shakespeare readings. It's like Shakespeare Abridged or something. Um, so is my flow different on my brush? Hold on. It's a sketch. That's why. Okay, fixed. But yeah, I think a lot of people just take it at its word and are very specific. Now, the red looks a little silly, I will say. The red feet with the no suggestion of the fact that he is otherwise a fox is funny. I don't hate it. but it is a little jarring, the color differentiation. Let me add the purple and see if that doesn't fix it. Honestly, I might just outline in purple, entirely in purple. Just changes line work. Let me see. That is just line. As long as I don't do his face in purple, it should be okay. I think body would be fine. Except for his face. I honestly don't mind a purple outline. I think that adds a lot actually, as opposed because I always do just a black outline because the cartoon characters that I do, I'm just so used to doing that. This is a nice accent. I will probably not do it on the bells. And I might not do it on this sash because it needs some of that depth. I like the black on the depth on the sash. Everywhere else is nice. Probably not the bells. I don't hate it on the bells. I'm gonna have to fix that. I don't know what's going on there. Oh no, that's where the black is on the outside. Yeah, that's fine. Not on the gloves. It's like the pop. It's nice. Maybe not on the wrinkles either. Just to emphasize where the pants line is. It looks great on the gray background. I can say that for sure. I don't. I wouldn't hate it if he was outlined in black, but I do think that the lines need to be where they are. And I also don't want them too much thicker because of the intricacies of like these are pretty small. If I were to go much thicker, it might not look great. I might do thicker on the ears. Let me check. When were you here before? What do you mean? Like today or like I wasn't on earlier today? When were you when when you were here before? Sorry, I misread that. Here before. What about when I was here before? I've been here forever. Let's undo the bells. Yes, yes. A little more purple. Bell. Get rid of that. do that there. Face. Yeah. Screaming at me. Oh my god. Purple cuff. No, I don't. Is the answer. The purple did do something that works with the orange. I will say that. Maybe I decreased the saturation to match the saturation of the purple. Actually, the purple is more saturated than the orange, I think. What is purple's complement? Purple goes with blue and orange, red and green, purple and yellow. So I can make his fur a little bit more yellow as a complement, but I think that might be too drastic as far as like fox goes. Like I think I maybe just need to stick more orange. Just want to see what that looks like. Hmm. What if I do gray? There are gray foxes. Silver foxes, if you will. Finished. Did you post it? Let's try silver. See what that looks like. Do magic wand. Should be okay based on my overfill. I do like that he kind of looks like he had the color drained from him. Man, I don't know. Maybe I do Arctic Fox. Let's see what white looks like. Yes. Okay, let me go check. Yeah, the medium brown gave him life. So you like the orangey? You think that's better? Because I feel like it draws too much attention potentially. I could just desaturate that. This is where your input is necessary. I need your insight. This is why we watch. You have authority over my decisions. Let me go. Let me go darker. Let's see what dark orange, like burnt. I don't hate that. I don't hate that. Hmm. I don't like the bright color. This one looks good. Okay. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna redo it just so that I have the right coverage. Yeah, I think that works. I just need it to be less pulling away from the purple. It was clashing with the purple. I need it to kind of recess into the background because his legs aren't super the point. His face is the point. His outfit is the point. And I think the white and the purple help with that, and I think the black offsets that in a nice enough pattern. I like the parallel of the diamonds on his chest with the diamonds on his face. It's a little overly intricate for the sake of like character design if I were to animate it. But for the sake of a fun outfit, I think it's fine. I like him. I think he's cute. Bright being that orange one. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, let me look at your let me look at your thing. Your thingy. Wow, you guys are going nuts in the art fight. I love intricate things. I very specifically don't like I have a weird aversion. I've heard of people who are like afraid of intricate like jewelry or clothing and like weaving and stuff. I have a weird aversion to that kind of thing, but it's not like I'm afraid of it. It's more just like I don't want to break it or touch it because it's got like a weird texture. Is my thing. After Tiger explained it, yeah, yeah. I think you should join. I think it's fun. I need to, or you are joining. You are doing stuff. Cool. Um, yeah. I need to finish this up. I also need to figure out a good background for him. Let me try one thing real quick. To I want to thicken this line on his ears and see if that looks good. I don't hate it, but I feel like it does clash. with the rest of the outlines, and also I feel like I would then be incensed to want to do more. Try what would a purple diamond feel like? Do purple, more purple accents, and just kind of break it up into 3 colors instead. I don't hate that, but it does stand out in terms of what I have right now. See, this is where I don't care about character design enough. Um, I just like the aesthetic of the character. I like the story behind him. I like the potential for his posing and actions. I love the secondary action that I could get away with all the bells, but that's animation stuff, right? That's not character design. That's not art fight, you know? So, anywho, I just wanted to get this template down for the sake of color. I can do Robot Boy now. We can start animating that. Gotta keep things simple for animation. It's easy to replicate. Yeah, that's just how my brain works. I like to keep things simple, especially when it comes to like accessories or like I'm also a very like utility kind of person, so even like I like to have the capacity to function rather than like I don't like unnecessary accents. I don't like unnecessary accessories. If it's like a pouch, absolutely, I'm all for it. I can carry more things, excellent. I'm mission accomplished, right? Um, oh, it's the color underneath. Okay. Um, so I just don't have that mindset like fashion wise. You know, I don't wear anything other than this. I wear a t-shirt. I wear a cutoff. I wear shorts. I wear jeans. That's it. I don't accessorize well. Okay, let's do Robot Boy. I got so many things that I need to do. Okay, I need to do the flames on his other foot, and then I need to do the water effects on his hand, and then I think I'm good. I think that's all I need. That is kind of a fashion minimalist, I believe. Oh yeah, I guess I would be defined as a minimalist. I like I always think about like if I needed to run somewhere, you know, if I'm in a hurry or whatever, that I don't have too much stuff on me that I'm gonna drop or lose or get caught on something. I don't know. It's just a weird like where I am. I don't like also like prepping for stuff more than I have to. So like if I'm going to work or something, I just wake up and I go. I don't like do makeup or anything. I don't do like coffee or anything like that either. So I don't know. I also decided that I was gonna do this on ones, the flames on ones, and the movement on twos for the sake of or my Photoshop shortcuts. Um, do the effects on ones and the movement on twos because it adds more movement, or it feels like there's more movement going on. I like what certain things could mean for the character. Why does he wear a pair of rings on his neck? Are they his parents? Are they his? Are they divorced and can't let go? Or is it his dead wife? I see. Interesting. That's fair. I just feel like it comes up so infrequently in the campaign when I'm like I don't think of what my companions look like in the scene that they're in necessarily unless they make more mention of the like he fiddles with his staff or she twiddles her hair or like something like that if there's some thing of deeper meaning which I feel like a lot of my people that I play with don't necessarily like get too involved in that. Size go down so much. I guess I'm just drawing later. A lot of characters that are visually filled with story, and even with the amount of art I have, where the things that I say are happening, not a lot of people ask or respond. Yeah, that is another like caveat. Is like you don't want to invest too much into something that other people might not find as important. I like to pick up on those things if they're more prominent, but I will admit that I do get very easily distracted, and I do focus a lot more on combat than I do on. Nah, that's not true. I've gotten a lot better about being more role play oriented. Um, I honestly have a hard time dialing it back when I have a character that's not charismatic because like it's a weird balance to be involved in the party and also not. There's a lot of ways to be uncharismatic, and I feel like some people don't take that into account. Like you can just be awkward or you can just be socially inept um rather than not talking, and I feel like a lot of people default to being like nonverbal when it comes to being not charismatic. um but I feel like it's hard to do someone who's very talkative and also not good at it without being annoying. Because that is another problem, is like you do still have to be a party member. I think the one that I had the most engagement with is my character Tramp, who was covered in burns and scars, but the most engagement was NPCs. Well, that's nice that at least your DM was trying to, push for people to be more engaged. At the very least, it is nice when the DM like works with you on that character because then you know that one person is paying attention and will throw you some scraps of whatever it is that you're trying to get character building wise. I always try to. I haven't DM'd in a while, but I liked to give everybody some reason to be present during the campaign. Um, and I knew which people were more oriented towards combat and which people were more oriented for not even more oriented for character building, but just like that they didn't necessarily need combat to feel fulfilled in a session. Like I always felt initially I felt like I had to meet some quota of like 3 combats so that we knew that we were making progress and leveling up. But we kind of broke that when we started doing like experience for the sake of being engaged or doing things outside of combat, like, you know, investigating, interrogating, uh, taking notes. Mm, this flame needs to be better. You did get asked, "What is wrong with you?" And I was quick with the, "Do you want to live?" Yeah, stuff like that. Like that. I feel like it needs to be more middling. The idea of like a low flame there. It's sputtering out. I might flicker it. I think I'm gonna flicker it and have it like dying because he's like coming down and doesn't need that one as much, and then boosts into it. Maybe. I just want to play with the capacity, you know, maybe something else rather than just the same looping fire effect. Sup, dudes? I'm Dude. Welcome in, dude. How's it going, dude? Welcome. I appreciate you being here. It does feel like a skill that more experienced, relaxed tabletop players have more of a handle on. I'd like to think that I'm more experienced, but I do also forget sometimes that I'm not charismatic. My character is not charismatic, especially because for the campaign that we're in currently, I am a pirate captain, and so even when we're not, like, none of the people in our party were part of my crew initially. But then we went on a pirate adventure and they became pirates, and so we are all, everybody refers to me as captain now. And I have a 12 charisma, so like shouldn't be doing all the talking, but they all look to me whenever there's a problem, and I'm like, what would an idiot do? But also, like, I try and make sure that I'm still like fumbling with things or like, but I still want it to be successful, and so I do need to step up when I am like I can't just be the captain. I think a couple of times I referred to my second mate, who was what much more charismatic, and I would just say whatever he says, do what he says, um, for the sake of like keeping up that charisma without having to break the world, break the immersion of who my character is. But it's a weird balance. 10 is still average, 12 is a little. He's not like inept, but he's like, he shouldn't be as smooth as I think I've made him a couple of times. Pirates, I have no idea what's going on. We're talking about D&D stuff, concepts for characters for art fight. I don't know if you're an artist or familiar, but I was making a character design. I'll just pull it up. I was working on a character design that I have for art fight. This is my bard uh, jester. Um, and then we were just sharing D&D backstories. And one of my other campaigns, I have so many campaigns going on right now. I'm starting on a fourth one, stupidly, but uh, I've got some time, so it's a shorter dedication. I have a bard, I have a warforged, what is he? Warforged warlock, and I have a pirate what is he? Herongon, a rabbit guy. Um, Rogue monk. That's what he is. He's a rogue monk combo. I like to multi-class sometimes. He's my pirate captain. He's very fun to play. That looks sick. Thank you very much. The other people's insight is lower than 12, then it makes sense that they feel he's more charismatic. That is a good point. Nobody else in the party is that much more charismatic, except for we have... Who's a charisma caster? Paladin's a charisma caster. Sorcerer is a charisma caster. I had a sorcerer. I was playing two characters at once, actually. Recently, we kind of put him to the side, which was fine because I kept forgetting about him, which I felt bad about because he is a character in and of itself, and he's very fun. I did start picking up on a side story where he, like... I found a homebrew thing where you can do, like, get a legendary boon, and I wanted to make sure that there was a punishment for it because it was kind of busted where it was like immunity to fire. He was a fire sorcerer, so it made sense. He only cast fire spells, and he had draconic ancestry, and so he would like he already had half resistance to it anyway. But I wanted immunity just for the sake of flavor as a character. But then I made the punishment that as he got hotter and hotter himself to be able to accommodate that, his body couldn't contain that heat, and so as he cast higher level spells, his arm started deteriorating until it was just like a stub. And so the side quest now is that he's staying at home, so then our artificer can build him a robot arm. Hopefully I can still bring him back at some point. He's very fun, and I really want to join the club of blonde-haired, well, he's got like silver hair, blonde-haired guys with metal arms club. But yeah, he was the only other charismatic person, and everybody else is pretty uncharismatic, so people do look up to my pirate captain. uh, it's very funny. He's really good at deception. I understand that art is hard. My knowledge about it ends there. Well, I appreciate that you recognize that. That is an important part of it. I remember that guy. Oh yeah. I cast third degree burns. Yeah, it slowly. I made sure that as I was casting, I made it evident to my party members that my arm was like turning necrotic, um, and that my character was worried about it. And then his fingers started falling off when we put ourselves in scenarios that we are very imminently in danger and close to death, and we don't recognize how perilous that is because we will just revivify people if they die. Um, and so I wanted to have a more permanent impact on the combat, and so to make it more imminent of a threat. And so as we were fighting these things that I needed to be casting these higher level spells, I sacrificed myself, part of myself, for the sake of keeping people alive, because he was very powerful. He got certain buffs to fire spells, and you know, he very specifically cast fireball, firewall, scorching ray, that type of stuff. But he had to like tone it down as his arm kept getting more and more messed up. Let's do like a pilot light, and then I think I want it to be like one more frame. And we can do like a go at what time is it? I have to go at like 5 today. So it's gonna be a little bit shorter today. But I will be back. I won't be here on Wednesday, but I will be here on Friday. Just so you're aware. In the end, you'll be 90% robot. I did consider, I think my alternative at that point was to start using my left hand, but I only used cantrips to avoid fully deteriorating. But I do like the concept that this is a thing that could potentially happen at any time, regardless. Like, we didn't fix the problem, right? It's just that we're adapting to then see if we can channel that magic energy into this metal arm and combine technology and magic. Um, and hopefully the metal will be able to withstand the heat better than flesh. And I really want like an arm that like transforms into like a Mega Man gauntlet, and it just like turns into a shooter and it shoots a fireball. I think that would be super sick. Have you played D&D at all? Imagine a tense moment where you have to use the metal arm and it melts like dripping metal steel. Ooh, that's fucking sick. Yeah, I could like splash somebody in the face with it. That is a spell, heat metal. That is a problem if you have armor on and then you can't take it off. I highly recommend D&D if you can get a good enough party of friends who are willing to learn and take their time. Um, it's honestly D&D has taught me a lot in terms of like being more charismatic, more outgoing, and improvisational. Just like being able to on the fly come up with stuff. Um, I don't think I would be streaming right now if I wasn't in a group of people who were friendly enough to have inspired me to be more outgoing and charismatic like this. So genuinely, D&D has changed my life in a way. Witty, yes, witty is a good way. Let me see what this looks like. Yeah, I do like that effect. I feel like there's a way to make it a little more. I think I need it to. I think I need this one to be like a bounce. It's pretty similar to the other. I also have a stupid number of games, but most of them are not D&D. Oh, I haven't played any other TTORPGs. I think if we ever did. No, somebody wanted to run like a Fallout variant, and somebody else wanted to run like a space variant, but we never got around to them. But I would be open to it. I think that would be sick. Uh, we are playing Legacy of Betrayal, Betrayal Legacy. That's the one. But that's like a more scripted, like like I consider a board game very specifically different than more of the theater of the mind kind of game. But that's just me. Hi, welcome in. What is up? Once I did a little animation on my 3DS, I used the pen to move little dots in different colors, and they moved around for a bit before disappearing. Nice. I liked when I first got started in animation. That was actually one of the first exercises I learned was just like moving a dot around and like just coming up with different trails and different kinds of effects, ways that you can alternate that size, speed, shape, uh, squash and stretch, that type of thing. So I always love when people just experiment with animation because I think it is the most freeing medium there is. Because it doesn't have to be drawn. You can do stop motion. You can do like photos. You can do ripped up pieces of paper. You can do uh, I don't know. Like there's endless possibilities, and so I'm always going to be an advocate for animation for everybody to try it. I think it's always very fun. I think that everybody should make art in some way, shape, or form because it is very meditative. Um, and I think it's something that helps me introspect personally. And I think that I need that time to think, and I think other people need that time as well. I run Keys to the Golden Vault, and I am in an Eberron game. I'm in a Genesis game, a Savage Worlds game, and Powered by the Apocalypse homebrew. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You got me beat. Oh, and Pathfinder. You're running Pathfinder. That's crazy. 6. You got me beat by 2. I have Golden Vault. We're also doing Golden Vault. No spoilers. Those are all different modules for D&D, essentially. Some of them are different, but most of the time they're just like campaigns that are written in books that are then essentially made public, so then people don't necessarily have to put in as much work as if they were like homebrewing an entire campaign. Just more structure to build off of, and then people can just bring a character in, that type of thing. I'm in Golden Vault with one of them. No spoilers. That's my warlock, Warforged, who is corrupted by an AI. Very fun character. I love Error. He lost his name, and he thinks his name is Error because that's what comes up when he searches his files. And he has been corrupted by an ancient artifact that is actually, for all intents and purposes, a demon in the form of an AI that gives him misinformation that he then spreads to the rest of the party. And so people are questioning him all the time of like, hey, what's the answer to this question? And he's like, it's this. And they're all like, that's not right. And he's like, yeah, it is. It's very funny. And so very slowly piecing together like what is truth and what is not. And then I'm in my friend's homebrew, which is the pirate captain and the sorcerer. I'm in my other friend's module. It's the Witchlight Carnival. I don't remember what that's called. It's like the Witchlight Curse or the something Witchlight. I know that. That's my bard. That's Yorick, the bard, the jester. And now I'm joining a Hollow Knight themed campaign that is based on someone else's module, but it's not a book necessarily. It's just like a framework for the bugs and all the bug classes, the races. The bugs are the races, and then you use just basic 5e rules for the classes. So we're just now starting on the bugs, and I'm crafting my character, and I don't know who to be yet. Modules, is that like the lore of the world? That's cool. Isn't it difficult to remember how to act in those different characters? I love the Witchlight. Witchlight was great. I don't personally have an issue with acting as those different characters, especially because I very specifically have different outfits that I wear for each of them. So it does help me like get into it, and I have different accents for each of them. So it's very specifically like a mental state to be in. It does take me a minute to snap into it, but I don't want to say I'm a good actor, but I'm pretty good about like, all right, I'm this guy now. I'm this guy now, type of thing. I wish I could join. Yeah, no, the Hollow Knight one is, I'm very excited. Or are you talking about Witchlight? Witchlight would be fun. It is fun, in fact. We're having a great time. We just now got out of the carnival. We had like 6 sessions in the carnival, which apparently in the book is only supposed to last 1 or 2, which was crazy because there were so many different events to go to attend at the carnival, and we were like, we want to do everything that it has to offer. Why would we skip on some of the attractions? That's lame. So we saw all of them. It was cool. But yeah, for my bugs, I have so many different bugs. I did some bug research last night. I keep saying bug. Um, I think I'm gonna be a bee if possible, but I'm also open to being a very specific moth or a Hercules beetle. I think would be sick. I really like them. They're cool. um, what was another one? Oh, I really like taxi beetles. I don't know if anybody knows what a taxi beetle is, but they look like little taxis and they're so cute, and I like them. Um, I need to go to my local zoo because we have an insect world, and I really like going in there to look at the bugs, and I forget some of my favorite ones now that I haven't been there in a while. Um, there's like an assassin bug that's like completely black except for a little bit of red on it, and that one's cool. I didn't want to be a spider just because I don't like the designs of the spiders in the Hollow Knight universe personally. Um, I also don't like spiders, but I love Spider-Man, ironically. Um, What was another bug? I have it written down. Let me just look at my bugs. Let me look at my bugs. My bug potential. Hercules beetle, a bee, a leopard moth, a firefly monk. I think would be very fun. The firefly. I love fireflies. Dragonfly rogue would be kind of cool. There's a wasp that I found out about yesterday that has a crazy like uh very geometric tail. It's a plesinid wasp, plecanid. And its tail is like a square, but it's got like that crazy wasp stinger on the end of it. Super cool. And then the robber fly, which is like a little cartoon fly with like he's got big goofy shoes. It looks like from what I saw. Very fun. I'm gonna leave because I don't quite understand what's going on. Got here from homepage and I don't know. Wanted to support some small creators. All I'm gonna say is good luck with whatever you're doing as well as your journey. Thank you very much. I appreciate you being here. Sorry I was confusing you with D&D talk, but I have a lot. I have a lot of lore going on. Sounds like a lot of work. Common arrows. I also have no idea what's happening. I appreciate you supporting small creators. I do genuinely. I think if I don't mesh with you, I get it. But I'm also open to talk about whatever you want. So if you want to say something in the chat, totally cool. I started Witchlight 2. We only got through the carnival because of schedules. Yeah, that happens. It falls apart. I feel like you've been here longer than I am. Mind explaining? We're talking nerd stuff. Is he making a design for a pirate? Cullen's usually animating unless we get on another topic where he's struggling to be a smooth, quick-witted pirate. No, I was designing earlier. I was designing my bard for the jester. That's for Art Fight. If you're not aware of Art Fight, it's a thing that artists do for the month of July. I forgot what month it was. For the month of July, people just exchange art characters that they make, OCs, and then those creators will like attack each other by drawing the other person's OC in their style. And so it's just a fun way of getting people to spread the artistic creativity, just like capturing other people's OCs, having a good time, sharing. It's a fun communal event. I have yet to create a character for Art Fight. I haven't participated before, so I'm using this guy, and I needed to finish my character sheet, so that's what I was working on earlier. But now I'm working on Robot Boy. I'm part of a collaboration to reanimate an episode of Robot Boy, if you've ever watched that on Nickelodeon. Back in the day. I'm old as hell, so I love Robot Boy. But I'm animating this. In the meantime, I need to get that done pretty soon. It was supposed to be due in June, but nobody was done with it yet, so they extended the deadline. But I don't know that they have a hard deadline as of yet to replace that. But I do want to get it off my plate because I've got other stuff that I want to work on, and it's fun. It looks cool. And then I got sidetracked talking about D&D characters because I love talking about D&D. Oh shit, shit, that's dope. He isn't done. I thought he was finished because it looks cool. No, I'm not done. This is just one part of it. I've got a full 4 seconds of animation, so I still need to do this beginning part. And I'm not done with the character sheet. I need to finish coloring all those other little guys. I just wanted to get the coloring out of the way. I just needed to do that laying out. This is not done either. I need to do... That middle shot is fairly done. I just need to color it and add like a background moving. But for the most part, that's the pose that I'm going with. And I might even just do a puppeted, just a slow, easy zoom out. But then there I need to draw him from perspective, which won't take too long. It's only a couple of 30-some frames, and he gets kind of small, so I don't have to do too much in the way of detail. Just kind of get a generic sense. As soon as I get to the turn, it should be easy enough. In the show, the reference itself, that's such a very specific... Thank you for the following. Thank you for following. I appreciate that. I heard my little fox go off. It's a little jarring. Yeah, so I need... In the original show, it was very specifically, when he jumps out the window, it's like a 90-degree turn, and it doesn't look great, so I wanted to give it a little bit more wind up and of a swooping turn, right? A friend, the jester. Oh, did that proc separately? Oh, I see. I made a friend. Okay, I didn't I only got the Fox notification after the fact. I also need to put like animated. I want to make my own animated pop-ups for streams, but streaming is not my focus right now. It's just a matter of like something to get me motivated to make stuff. You're just on YouTube? Yes, I'm only on YouTube. I've been meaning to figure out how to do a plugin for dual streaming because I don't want to pay for it, but apparently you can plug in on OBS, I think, um, and split stream to Twitch. I want to do Twitch specifically because I want to be able to do raids when I have enough people to send somebody else's way. I want to be able to find other smaller artists and work together, build community, share other smaller people, fans, and back and forth. I think that would be cool, just to build upon. But yeah, I'm more focused on art and animation right now for the meantime, so I haven't had a second to myself to set up my streaming exactly the way that I want to, but that's right. Also, I didn't say it specifically. Thank you for being my friend. I appreciate you tuning in and subscribing. I believe is what the proc is for being a friend. Thank you for subscribing. It does mean a lot, and it does do a lot for the channel specifically. It helps with recurring views, and it does validate me in the eyes of YouTube if there's ever a problem that arises. So that is important. See how well that works. I do like the trail at the end is really nice. I don't know about the flare though. It's not terrible. I think I need some more build up here. I think I need, rather than it just dying out, I think I need something. I like the flicker. I think I move this. I think that's what I do. I think I do that. So it goes from there to there. Flicker. Flicker again. Yeah, something like that. Two friends. Oh my god. Uh, ever thought of working on anything big, like your own series or something? I have ideas for bigger stuff, but I don't think I have the means to do it myself. I think I need at least two other people to work with to get anything bigger made. Um, I have longer projects that I have made, but they're more fan things that I've made in the past. So like I have a Sonic the Hedgehog, I have a Pikachu breakdancing, I need to release my Cerulege and my Cerulege combat and my Tower Dungeon fan animation. I don't know if anybody reads manga, but Tower Dungeon is a really phenomenal manga that I loved enough that I was like, I want to put this to timing. Like I want to animate this. I want to work on this when they start making this an anime. Um, and so I found a sequence of the manga that I essentially redrew all of the panels beat by beat because I think that's the best way to do anime of something that already exists is to just have the thing that inspired the artwork enough to make people want to watch it moving. and use those panels, because I think so many times when people make anime that it just falls apart because they don't stick to the script. And there's a reason that it has a following. There's a reason that there's enough demand for you to make it into an anime. So just do that. I don't understand why they diverge. So my idea was to just redraw the panels, time them out, and then fill in any gaps that are missing motion, essentially. And so I played up on, I added to the scenes and added more flashy combat and more, um, I added dialogue. I wanted to like, there's very specifically one character that I wanted to voice act as because he's so badass, and I don't think I have the voice for it, but I'll get there. Um, but it's just a good enough anime or a manga that I think it deserves to be an anime, first of all, and I want to work on it second of all. But yeah, I have ideas for bigger stuff. It's just a matter of like sit down and do it, and I need to be able to. I have to do other projects that I'm working on. I'm working on this is like a collab with other people, so I feel like that's a little bit more helpful for the sake of like contributing to a bigger project. I think that's more what I need to do first, so then I can improve my workflow, if that makes sense. Um, but yeah, I'm chipping away at several different projects. My problem is that I start so many that I then split my focus and never finish any of them. Uh, but I'm getting there. I'm moving through. I'm getting done with some of them, so that's good. I subscribe personally. I think this is cool. Thank you. I appreciate it. You're pretty cool for doing that. It says so in the description. There's also a Discord if that's something either of you are interested in. That is very specifically for like if you want to share your art or talk to artists, stuff like that. Um, Everyone's welcome, but I feel like you might not feel welcomed if that makes sense. You would be. I would welcome you, but if you aren't somebody who makes art, you would probably feel out of place with people who are very specifically talking about art. But up to you. But I ain't an artist. Fair enough. That's all it has to be. I know that Discord for me is very specifically like I only engage in stuff that I am engaging in. So, like as soon as I'm done with the whatever project for the Discord that I'm working on, I dip. Like, you know, uh, not that I'm not trying to make friends or anything, but like Discord is only so interactive, and I get caught up in all the different, all the messages and stuff. Yeah, I like the first foot a lot, and I like the effect on the second foot, but I don't know that it meshes well with the first one. But I think it's fine. I like that it's different at the very least. I like that it's not just the same copy and pasted effect. I do really like the first one, how like it is very jittery, but like intentionally. I think it works uh, navigationally as well, in that it's turning off as he gets closer to the water, so that he's like coasting a little bit more. He's he's saving his energy. Uh, yeah, I think that's good. I'll do the water effects next time. I got distracted with Yorick, so I didn't spend all of my time efficiently. But I've got like 20 more minutes, and then I got to dip. So let's start on the water effects. I have a very specific reference from Fire Force, if anybody's seen that. Really good. But the opening sequence has a really cool water effect where he's like flying through the water. Super cool. If you ever need an army of artists, yeah. If you have a project, if you're willing to pay, yeah. I think I'll be off now. I got a couple of things to do, but have a great day, night, you three. You as well. Thank you for stopping by. I really appreciate it. Come back soon. Sure will. Thank you. All right. Let's do some water. I did one single frame of water effects. I still have that pulled up, so that's good. Where is it? There it is. Good lord. Is that from the intro? I think it is the intro. Okay. So the water goes crazy here. Now, unfortunately, I can't use my keyboard shortcuts. And I'm not gonna rotoscope it or anything, but I want to use it for the sake of like the shapes, because there's a very specific shape that goes into water being kicked up, and I don't know the physics of that. I've never like done drones flying past water or anything, um, or like a helicopter or something. But also the pacing. It's on twos, and it looks pretty solid for on twos. So I'll probably stick with that, and then if I decide I want to do in betweens, I can. Um, Honestly, I might just do some straight ahead and just have a variation of like droplets coming towards the camera, stuff like that. I think it'll be fine. I think it'll be fine. I'm gonna get rid of the bridge because I don't care. I'm gonna get rid of the shimmer because that doesn't matter. Oh, but I do want to keep him on the screen, not just the thrusters, because I want to be able to see where he's interacting with the water enough to make it move just from his thrusters, just the mass of him passing at that rate. And then I also want to do his hand hitting the water and like flick some water up because he's being playful. I wanted to in the original shot it's just he swoops down and you just get the exact backing of him flying away from camera. And I'm not dissing the original, obviously big respect to the original. But it was a serialized animation, so they had to pump it out very quickly, and so they had to cut corners in animation where they could. Completely understandable. If you're making something weekly, that's quick crunch. You got to get that turnover. I get it. But I want to add some more livelihood, and I want to add some more, not livelihood, liveliness to it, and I want to add more character, because Robot Boy, very specifically, his whole character is that he is aspiring to be a real boy, quote unquote. His whole thing is that he lacks empathy. He is a robot, and so he's learning to be human from a very empathetic human boy. And so I want to add little moments of his humanity coming through that he is developing, not because he's specifically mimicking something that he saw, but he is developing it his own. Similar to like Detroit Become Human. What is sentience? What is humanity? What is human rights? You know, that type of thing. I've also gotten that idea more from Fujimoto, the guy who does Chainsaw Man. He has so many moments in his manga and his animes that are very human, and it's just little stuff, but it's so huge when it comes to character building, where like little moments, like the way that somebody eats, the way that somebody cleans their dishes, whether or not they are willing to clean their own dishes, is telling of their character, and that he intends to include that is intentional. It is something. There's a reason for it, and some people might be like, "Oh, it's filler. Oh, it's lame. It's whatever." It's so important, and I want to do more of those moments in my own thing because it speaks to me specifically. So I want to use that to be more emotionally drawn. I want other people to be emotionally drawn into that and pay more attention to those things because they're important. So I think the more exposure people have to those things, the more willing they are to engage with it. I blink and he's gone. I didn't get to say goodbye. Hi, what version of Toon Boom is that? This is premium from 20. I think it's Toon Boom 15. And I do have the premium version. I paid for the perpetual license a while ago and can't afford an upgrade, so here I am. Yeah, Toon Boom is this program. No, I do have Clip Studio Paint, but I haven't been using it recently, just because I know Toon Boom much more familiarly. That was bad English. I'm much more familiar with Toon Boom, so I know all the shortcuts more inherently. So whenever I'm working on something that I want to get done faster, I usually use Toon Boom for that purpose. Okay. so nothing on these frames because he's not close enough to the water yet, but I think here he's kicking up water initially, and then it would fly at the camera. I think I'm going to do it on twos to start for the sake of, well, time, but also I think I have enough movement on. I don't want to draw too much away from the flame effects because I really like the way that they turned out. So we'll see what I can do. But I do want, maybe I'll just do some spray. I don't know that I necessarily need too much on the water, but just something. I don't, he's not going too far that way, so I feel like I don't need too much. I could also make the water a little, like, translucent, so that it's not blocking the view, but I will probably just try and keep it more this way. Yeah, something like that. As water tends to be, looks nice. The splash, thank you. I want to. I like unique shapes when it comes to design. Like, I never finished Demon Slayer. I watched season one. I love the effects that they use. The way that they made them look like ink block prints from, the what era of Japanese art was that? I feel like it was 1600. When was Great Wave off Kanagawa? I'd say that was like 1620, but I could be wrong. It might have been sooner than that. I'm gonna look it up because I need to. I love Great Wave is my favorite art piece of anything. I think there's a couple, but Great Wave is great. Wave. Hokusai. What year? Edo period. 1830. Okay. 1831. Sorry. I knew there was a period of time that it was in. Edo period. Or Edo period? Edo. Edo. Well, Edo would be if it was an I. Edo? Probably Edo period. But the shapes of the waves, you know what I mean? Where it's very like geometric, but also not. Like somehow it's a perfect combination of organic and inorganic shapes. I don't know how he did it, but he fucking nailed it. See if I can wrap this up in the next 10 minutes and see what this looks like. I might end up doing uh, redrawing some of them. I'm going to use this as inspiration. Let's tick through and see what we got. Okay, so that splash is from impact, not from proximity. So that is important differentiation because that's a pretty big splash. And I'm trying to keep it more about like the mass, the displacement that's happening because of his speed. Um, a little too fiery. something that's interesting that I've found recently, I have a book about specifically elements and how they move in effects. So fire, wind, water, earth, like genuinely, when you use effects, it is usually capturing an element. And so I have this book called Elemental Magic, and so it's describing the differentiation between water versus fire versus wind, and a lot of the shapes are very similar, um, but it all has to do with physics and the way that they reshape or interact with themselves determines a lot of the movement. So fire shapes are usually very jagged, but there's ways to control it and make it more fluid, like the difference between a candle versus a bonfire. And it all has to do with like the source material, the fact that a matchstick is just this amount of surface area versus a bonfire that's spread out over a very jagged shape of a log. It changes the shape of the flame. And the same goes for water. The way that you're hitting it, if you're hitting it at an angle versus straight on versus what's going into it versus if it's just like wind, it changes those shapes, but you can make them very similar. So sometimes water does look like fire, and the only thing that changes the way that it looks is the color when you're finished with it. So a lot of it is this same repetitive motion of like you want to make sure that these shapes change size alternatively. You don't repeat the same shape in the same spot. You do big and then shrink down. It moves in a wave, even though it's fire, even though it's water. It moves in a wave regardless, right? So like this, then becomes this one, then becomes it goes away. This one becomes that one, right? You still follow this pattern, and even though he's moving at a faster rate, you still want to make sure that the human eye can capture that movement happening. So that one's going to probably become this one, but then just be like this, right? Make it a little fluid. Those dissipate so quickly in the air that they would get caught when they get kicked up. They'll get caught by the wind and not show up really. So they'll only be in the same place for one frame as opposed to needing to follow a. Great Wave is a manga. Great Wave is an ink block print by an artist, very famous. You've probably seen it. At the very least, you've seen inspiration of it. I promise. Um, really cool. Search it out. Looks cool. Really, you've never seen that? That's awesome. It's breathtaking. It's not like immense. It is actually the physical piece is only about. I think it's only this big. Because it was a wood block print. Like he carved it with carving tools and then mass produced it for the sake of like distributing it. That's just the method of art that he made, but it's still amazing, and the amount of detail that he got on such a small, like intricate piece of wood, super cool. Um, now that I think of it, you guys knowing art does make sense. I do have a lot of art history. Well, not really, I guess. Somebody has to be in time, am I right? Sorry, I'm getting there. I'm trying to get all this done in time. Oh, I didn't do. Yeah, I got places to be. Sorry. This right here kind of looks like fire if you at it at a distance. If you don't know that it's water, right? It was just a single frame that you were seeing. agitated water, I guess is the best way to put that, to describe it, since it's so close to the water. But I'm now remembering that I want to showcase his hand touching, which it does start to touch like right here. So I want to emphasize that. Show that his hand is touching. Be able to see that is like I don't want this water to overlap with his hand specifically. Real quick, see how that looks. I'll turn back on the background and the shimmer. Hopefully it's not too busy. There is a lot happening there. Let me turn off the shimmer and see if that looks a little better. I do still want the shimmer there. I might have to do the. Thought about doing the water on two or on ones just for a second, but I do think it's going to be fine on twos. I'm just going to have to change it a little bit. I think I want there to be, because it's kind of just in the same spots right now. I think I'm just going to have to make it move a little bit more in perspective with him so that it's like it starts more narrow at the beginning and kind of widens as he gets lower and more into the center. I'm just going to have to move that, I think. But otherwise, I think it's fine. I do like the trail on the hand. I think that's fine. I do want to emphasize that somehow, so maybe I'll make the splashes blue and the hand white, where it's like more frothy, potentially. And then I need to fix the throw. So I will. This one I will just delete. I think I need that to determine where that water spray is going to go, but that's for another day. All I got for you. Keep going. But appreciate you being here. Thank you very much. Let me read through the chat real quick before we go. To be able to talk about it with people. Welcome. That's made it happen with a lot of practice. Smile, that's good enough to make things on my head on paper or digital paper. That I'm trying to be a proper animator, and I will. Yeah, that is how I came about art as well. It's just like I saw cartoons. I was like, I want to make that happen. I have ideas that I want to share with other people. This is the best medium to do it. It's very hard, but it's very gratifying. Just watching those flames in these 20-some frames, I can't describe the feeling of how much gratification I get out of that, knowing that I made that myself. With with very little, if none, reference for the flames specifically. With the water, I have a little bit of reference, but just that I'm able to think about that, use reference of what I've seen in the past, and know how that's going to happen. So fun, so amazing. Like genuinely, little kid imagination come to life. Like that's the only way I can describe it. So if you've ever wanted to do that, I highly suggest you make art. That's just my idea on it. But yes, I'm also getting closer to that point of being able to think of something and put it on paper. And that is the most exciting part of making art. Is that like it takes a really long time to be able to get your hand to do what your head is doing. Anyway, that is all the time I have today. I will be back on Friday, same time, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard. Every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, except for this Wednesday. I got other stuff to do. Anyway, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Hopefully you learned something. If you didn't, you will next time, I promise. So you better be there. Bye.